Welcome to Life on Maui. I'm your host, Stephen Freid. And the subject for today is something near and dear to my heart. It has to do with the inner journey, the journey toward self-realization. This weekend, I was clothes shopping and got this new shirt. And a very enthusiastic salesperson came up to me and informed me that the color brown is the new black. He said, brown is the new black. And I've just been chuckling about that the whole weekend, how relative everything is in the realm of fashions, in the realm of so many things in life. So many external people and media telling us what's what. And then there's this journey within. And it's something that I've been personally involved in since I've been 19 years old. And my guest today wrote this book, Seeds of Awareness. And the quote on the back of the book says, "The most important journey embarked on is navigated on a course leading inward." So I'm very pleased to have my guest today, Bob Pederson.
Aloha, Steve.
Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
So how did you start your journey inward? What started you on your path?
Ooh, it's a kind of convoluted path in ways. It actually started probably March 17th, 1948, in the village of Queens, New York. So I was born in, of all places, a sanitarium. And I grew up for years thinking, man, what did I do to be born in a crazy house? So it wasn't until years later that I found out a sanitarium is actually just a place of healing. It's a place for people to be nurtured back to health. So I was born in Queens, New York, 3 o'clock in the morning. And as a doctor, apparently as a doctor called me, he actually gasped. And he looked down at this little yellow baby. So I was born yellow, jaundice, and so dehydrated that my skin was adhered to my bones.
Oh my.
So instead of taking me and passing me on to my mother to suckle at her breast, or instead of passing me on to the nurse and having me coddled, he took me directly from one oven and placed me in another oven, the incubator. And there I meditated for a while. And that's where my journey began.
You were talking about how, based on the relationship that you had with your mom, there was a lot of intuitive interplay from a very young age with your mom. And then you were talking about you laying in the bathtub. And what was that about?
There was actually a reason why I was born jaundiced and dehydrated. Apparently, I was my mom's confidant the whole time I was in her womb. And for years afterwards. During that period, she was being sexually and emotionally abused. And she couldn't tell anybody. It was an era where you didn't talk to people about those things. So she talked to this little infant, this little child. And in the process, I became really sensitive and took on a lot of that energy. And it gave, in that process, I gained a lot of gifts, a lot of gifts. It helped me.
Yeah, what were some of those gifts? You were talking about something about being able to direct healing within yourself somehow.
Yeah, you become empathic. Then at an early age, and I don't know why this happened though, I knew instinctively or intuitively that when I had a headache, I'd just lay in the bathtub. I was maybe 8 years old at the time. I'd go into that area that hurt, that area of pain, and I'd say, relax, relax, and I'd go in deeper, and I'd relax and go in deeper and relax, and then all of a sudden, boom, this picture would just manifest itself of where the pain had stemmed from, then it would dissipate.
And you were how old when that happened?
I was probably about 8 years old.
8 years old, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, not exactly the same, when I was about 6 or 7. My parents moved out to where there was more nature. And I can remember standing outside, and I'd find a way to concentrate and move my arms a certain way, but it was more about the focus. And I lifted up above my body, and I was looking down on my body. And it was ecstatic. I can remember it. I mean, that was 47 years ago, and I can remember it clearly, the ecstasy. And I did that one more time, and then after that I couldn't do it. But I know that really stuck with me from a young age.
Yeah, you have to wonder too, coming in as children, we have no ideas, we have no perceptions, but we're told what to believe and how to look at the world. And a lot of children have magical experiences, and we tend to forget about them after a while.
Yeah. I remember with my own son, it's really nice, is he used to talk about things that happened before he was born, and I can remember Sandy, my ex, would really listen to him and really involve him in talking about that. And I thought, that's wonderful. I don't think I had that. You probably might not have had that either. You know, somebody to really draw that out, that connection. But so here's this incredible book. I know that this book was years in the making. Talk a little bit about the years that it took to put together this book, where it started, some of the experiences you had in the process.
Well, it actually started as a great American novel. I was not meaning to write this book in the beginning. I was a novelist. I wanted to write a novel that would influence people. And I'd write. I always wrote. And along the way, I was getting these little glimpses of poetry and questions and thoughts that would stimulate other thought. And it was obvious they need to be written down. They needed to be put down on paper. And it was apparent to me, too, that the best way for people to grow, the best way to grow inside, is to question and to find your own journey and not have people actually telling you or dictating to you what you need to know. It's inside. And as long as we question, we can keep questioning and come back to a point of truth or understanding. And everybody's life is different. We have billions of people on this planet, billions. And every single person is living a different reality. A totally different reality. There's people in the same schools of thought that don't think the same. There are not probably two people on this planet that actually live a real similar reality, except for maybe twins.
And maybe not even twins.
And maybe not even twins.
Yeah, because it's like snowflakes. No two snowflakes are alike. And
exactly.
You know, I always feel like if we could really embrace that uniqueness that we are and relish it.
It almost seems like that's what life is all about. Since everybody is that individual, it seems like we should be embracing that individuality and honoring that in other people instead of trying to kind of subdue it or make it appear as something it really isn't.